course I don't have pants on. Good evening, YouTube. My name is Dan, and I'm the coach of your St. Louis Rampardos. Here we are, guys, entering week 9 of the GBA here, sporting an impressive 7-1 record, only losing to one team. Now, we have come in and dominated. We have shown our opponents what the Rampardos are all about, and we have taken the top of our division and officially clinched a playoff spot for the GBA this season, in our first ever full season of the GBA. Now, I'm very, very proud as the coach of the St. Louis Rampardos, and very, very proud of the team that we've had so far that has been able to destroy the league and show why defense is the best offense. Now, last week we played Cooper, who was in the top of his division at the time. We were able to come up with a nice 3-0 victory. Now, a lot of the haters are going to complain about the hacks once again, because why not? There's nothing else to complain about, I suppose, and that's fine. Feel free to complain about the hacks, but we would have won regardless. We did get a couple lucky breaks, but so did Cooper, so I would say it evened out in the end. And while I never hope for a hacksy battle, I'll take the win nevertheless. Now, if you want to argue about differential, that's another story, but nevertheless, big props to my friend Cooper and his matchup. I do apologize, that things didn't go quite your way, but I'm happy that the Rampardos were able to come out on top, which was, of course, our intention going into the week. Now, we have a very tough opponent heading into week 9, I'm sorry. His name is Old Man Tup. Now, Old Man Tup is currently sitting at 1-7 in the GBA in his first season ever, and he's off to a bit of a rocky start. But we will not underestimate our opponents, because it is very important for us to keep this momentum going. A win this week in the GBA will clinch not only the playoff berth that we already have, but will actually clinch our division and a first-round bye for the playoffs in the GBA. Now, that bye can be crucial, because I'm going to be honest, I don't want to play John again in the New Orleans Pelipers, so it'd be quite nice to be able to skip that first week and hopefully get ourselves into the top 4 of the GBA. Regardless of who our opponents are, whether it's John, Shady, or anyone, we are going to prepare and do our best to come out on top, which is exactly what our plan is against Old Man Tup this week. Now, we did play Old Man Tup, of course, in week 5 of the GBA, if you guys didn't know. We were able to come up with a nice 2-0 victory, sealing the deal with Shadow Sneak with a Mega Sableye. Now, in that matchup, Old Man Tup brought Assault Vest Azumarill, and he wishes he brought Choice Band. So in this week, I'm expecting the Choice Band to come, because he does carry the potential Ice Punch for Vileplume, for Gourgeist, and so on and so forth. So just kind of running through Old Man Tup's team, I'm going to tell you guys he just made a recent trade acquisition as well, trading away his Mamoswine and his Crobat to pick up Tornadus Therian form, as well as Amoonguss. Now, it's going to create quite the regenerator core for Old Man Tup with Amoonguss and Tornadus T, and I am nearly positive that he will be bringing both of those to the matchup this week. Now, while they don't have the best matchup ever against me, why else would you make a trade in the last couple weeks of the season if not to try out these Pokemon? There's only 2 weeks left, so the likelihood that he will want to try out his Tornadus T and his Amoonguss is very, very high. I'm also expecting him to bring Azumarill, because, again, Azumarill has a very, very good matchup against my team, in the fact that it also carries Superpower and Play Rough to take care of my defensive core. Aqua Jet priority handles a lot of my Pokemon, including Terrakion and possibly Nidoqueen as well, and he could potentially run Knockoff and Ice Punch to round out his lineup, depending on what 4 moves he ultimately decides on, and that could put a dent on my Vileplume or my Gourgeist. So keeping all that in mind, I've designed my team accordingly. Now, I've mentioned he could be bringing the Alakazam, the Tornadus, and of course, the Amoonguss. I also expect him to bring, I'm sorry, I said Azumarill. I also expect him to bring his Mega Alakazam to the matchup as well. Now, Mega Alakazam did not pack Dazzling Gleam in our Week 5 matchup, but it will be carrying it this week. I think Old Man Tup realizes the error of his ways in not carrying Dazzling Gleam to take care of Mega Sableye. I believe he will be bringing it this week. Now, Heatran will probably also finish up his lineup there, and his 6th Pokemon is a bit to be determined. I'm quite unsure about this. Could be Salamence, could be Aromatisse. I don't believe he'll bring Cactorn or Hitmontop. Slowking seems like a bit of a strange play as well. Porygon Z doesn't seem to fit very well because of Chansey. So I'm thinking that those are going to be a 6. Azumarill, Tornadus T, Salamence, Amoonguss, Heatran, and Mega Alakazam, potentially swapping out the Salamence for Aromatisse if he is really concerned about Mega Sableye. I would obviously prefer Aromatisse over Salamence, just because Salamence has tremendous sweeping power. Now, my team is designed to take on Old Man Tup, but I do want to bring up one point before I jump into the team here. Old Man Tup has a team that could potentially run Trick Room. And I didn't necessarily prepare for Trick Room, because how do you prepare for Trick Room? I'm going to prepare for what I think he's going to bring. but there is a potential for Trick Room, so if he does bring it, don't be too surprised. I don't think he will, because I think he wants to take advantage of his Tornadus T and his Amoonguss, but there is the potential for the Trick Room to come. So, our lineup for this week, Week 9 of the GBA. A win this week will again clinch our division title and also guarantee us a bye in the playoffs, so it is a very, very important week for us, and I am looking to go 8-1 after this week. The Pokemon we're bringing first this week is none other than Chansey. Now, Chansey has been a huge defensive staple for us, and this week it'll be rocking max HP, max defense with a bold nature to take Psyshocks. Most definitely the best, possibly, you know, bulk. Most bulk I could possibly rock on this thing to take a Psyshock from Mega Alakazam, because he probably isn't going to run Psychic. He'll run Psyshock for Chansey. If he runs Knockoff again, I'll be very surprised. I don't think he's going to be able to fit that in on his moveset this week, because he's probably going to want to run, you might run Knockoff instead of Shadow Ball, but then it kind of opens up a few other gaps, so we'll see. But Dazzling Gleam on Alakazam is going to be crucial. This Chansey is specifically designed to take those hits from that Alakazam at max, you know, stopping power, basically. Rocking Soft Bullet, Seismitoss, Counter, and Thunder Wave. Thunder Wave with the opportunity to potentially paralyze something like the Heatran, which will likely be a matchup, Chansey versus Heatran. The Counter is nice because I can take a hit from Azumarill. I believe I can take a superpower from a Banded Azumarill. It's going to be close, but I believe we can. I know we can take Aqua Jets and Waterfalls and so on. So that counter could be useful. I haven't brought it in a few weeks, so I'm hoping that the counter can come out on top this week and we're able to get Chansey a kill. But it's going to be important to keep it healthy as long as I can to basically sponge hits for me and allow me to gain momentum back. Now, the next Pokemon we're going to be rocking is none other than rounding out our defensive core here, of course, Mega Sableye. Now, Mega Sableye is going to be rocking a fully physically defensive set again this week, but I'll be rocking actually a Relaxed Nature, which is a little bit weird. I'm running 0 speed investment Relaxed Nature to have the slowest possible Sableye I can have, and the only reason for that is specifically just because in case he does bring Trick Room. Now, Sableye's base speed is only 20 anyway, so it wasn't going to be outspeeding much, maybe the Amoonguss, but that's base 30, I believe. So I think running minimum speed investment, or the minimum speed Sableye can have, I don't think it's going to hurt me in any way. So just a note, just in case he does bring Trick Room, it'll just allow me to outspeed everything on his team and at least get some free knockoffs off. You can see I'm running Recover, Will-O-Wisp, Knockoff, and Shadow Sneak. Shadow Sneak is a 2-hit KO on the Mega Alakazam. Knockoff is a potential OHKO on Mega Alakazam, and I can indeed take a modest Dazzling Gleam without a problem. So that's something to note. 2 Shadow Sneaks will knock out the Alakazam, and I would consider that a successful trade-off there. Hopefully, Sableye will deter him from setting up hazards, but more importantly, be able to get some knockoffs off on his opponents to get rid of his leftovers, potentially, as well as any Choice Scarfers or Choice Banders he may have. Specifically that Azumarill. Our third Pokemon this week has been quite an interesting Pokemon in the GBA for us so far. It is actually our Choice Scarf Terrakion, named aDrive, of course. Now, this is the exact same Terrakion I brought against Tup in Week 5, but I didn't get to use it, and I didn't use Terrakion last week either. It's been brought to, I believe, 4 weeks so far, and has only played 2 out of the 4. I haven't needed to send it in. I'm hoping this week I don't have to send it in again. It has a great matchup, though, with Stone Edge pretty much 2-hit KOing most things on his team, including a defensive Amoonguss, also one-shotting the Salamence and Tornadus, which could be very, very good. I'm carrying Poison Jab on it. I know Stone Edge actually does more than a Poison Jab will to a Fairy type, but in case I don't want to risk the miss and I want to guarantee 60 to 70% Azumarill, I think Poison Jab is the right play. Quick Attack is also there in case I come down to the very, very wire, and I'm afraid that I will not be able to outspeed some priority or something like that. I'll be able to Quick Attack to take down the Mega Alakazam if needed, although I should outspeed with a Scarf. That's just to be safe in case I decide at some point to try to switch Terrakion in on a predicted knockoff, getting an attack boost and also firing off a Quick Attack. If I do see that Alakazam comes in against Chansey, I will predict a potential knockoff and maybe take a very risky switch into Terrakion to get that Defiant boost, lose my item, and then kill it back with a Quick Attack. It really depends on the scenario. Our fourth Pokemon is indeed the same Pokemon we brought against Tup again Week 5 in Rotom Wash. Rotom Wash is running a Choice Spec set this week, of course, running HP Ice for Salamence, Hydro Pump, and Volt Switch. Now, there's one crucial difference this week with Rotom that wasn't the case Week 5 against Tup, and the fact that he does not have a Ground-type Pokemon anymore, which means he has no electric immunities. Meaning Rotom Wash with its Choice Specs is free to Volt Switch around. Now, I'm running Max Special Attack, a little bit of speed investment to outspeed Max Speed Jolly Azumarill. I don't think he'd run it, but just to be safe. And I'm also carrying 200 Defense EVs to allow my maximal bulk against things like Azumarill and potentially the Salamence as well. Our fifth Pokemon is none other than Mew. Now, there was a little bit of a debate last week about Mew, saying that Mew should be banned in the GBA. Anyone who thinks that, I think, is absolutely ridiculous. Mew was not even taken in the first round this year, and while it does pack quite a bit of potential because of its moveset, I don't believe it needs to get banned from the GBA. Regardless of those talks, regardless of those thoughts, Mew is sitting at a nice 6 kills so far in the GBA. I'm hoping to pick up a few this week as well. Running an Expert Belt Naive Mew, which is a little bit interesting, but carrying Sucker Punch, which is going to max, it's going to kill an Alakazam, Mega Alakazam from max HP. Now, I plan to bluff a choice item on this, so I don't want to give away the fact that I am indeed Mixed Mew, because I do think that Alakazam would be quick to set up a substitute against us, and I don't want to Sucker Punch on a sub. That would be pretty bad. So don't expect me to Sucker Punch first term against Alakazam, but it is a nice opportunity for late game if I need it. It is a guaranteed OHKO against Standard Mega Alakazam with the Sucker Punch. Now, I am also carrying Psychic for Amoonguss, which is a 2-hit KO, Ice Beam for Salamence, which is an OHKO, and of course Sludge Wave, which will actually OHKO in Azumarill if it's not carrying an Assault Vest. I'll of course outspeed the Expert Belt to add that a little bit of extra damage, and hopefully bluff the fact that I am indeed Choice Scarf or Choice Specs, potentially even Banded. He's not going to know what set I'm running, but I'm hoping that the Expert Belt will allow me to bluff what my Mew set actually is this week. Lastly, rounding out our lineup, which was actually our most important Pokemon against Tup in Week 5. I didn't want to deter too far from my initial strategy because I liked it a lot. I think it worked out really well. Was actually Nidoqueen. Now, Nidoqueen is again running a physically offensive Nidoqueen rather than the special set most people are used to. Rocking Stealth Rocks, Poison Jab, Ice Punch, and Earthquake with just enough speed to outspeed that max speed Jolly Azumarill. I indeed have 126 EVs in defense to allow me to take hits better from the Azumarill. Now, I can take an Aqua Jet and OHKO it with Poison Jab, so I do feel pretty good about that scenario. Depending on its HP and defensive investment, we should have no problems knocking it out with that Sheer 4 Life or Boost. So that's going to conclude our lineup. We're bringing 6 awesome Pokemon this week. The same 6 we brought against Tup in Week 5. Now, again, he did change up his team a little bit, rocking Tornadus and Amoonguss now, but I think I made the necessary adjustments to counter for those 2 Pokemon if needed. Now, I'm a little bit worried about this matchup, I'm not going to lie. Tup has shown his ability to battle and strategically plan in the GBA, running some funky stuff sometimes. I think the lead matchup is going to be very, very crucial here. Depending on whether he brings Aromatisse or not is going to be a very, very big determining factor. I do believe that Tornadus is like the lead, which makes me think that maybe Terrakion will be a good lead this week. It's kind of a little bit of a mind game right now, whether Mega Sableye will lead or whether he'll think I'm going to lead with Mega Sableye or not. I don't really have a necessary plan at this moment until I see his team and we jump into the match. Don't be surprised if I leave a Choice Scarf Terrakion, though, to try to take out the Tornadus first turn. I'll be able to put on a lot of pressure on his team, and he doesn't really have a whole lot that wants to take a Choice Scarf Stone Edge from a Terrakion rocking max attack. So, anyway, we're going to see what happens. Of course, I wish you the best of luck, Tup, but hopefully the St. Louis Rampardos will be able to jump to a nice 8-1 after this matchup. Of course, if you are supporting the St. Louis Rampardos, I do thank you for your support so far this season. It is really a collaborative effort between myself, the coach, the team that we have, and of course the St. Louis Rampardos fans. And there are no better fans in the world than the St. Louis Rampardos fans. Please show your love on that like button below. It'd be absolutely magnificent if we could hit 750 likes on this video. I'd really appreciate it. And that's going to be it. One last thing, though. I want to thank everyone who picked up their St. Louis Rampardos t-shirt. We sold over 70 t-shirts, which is absolutely mind-blowing, and I am very, very thankful for your support to the organization. So thank you for that. Now, that's going to be it for me, guys. Enjoy the match. It'll be on Sunday at midnight as usual, and I'm going to catch you guys later.